Good morning. Today we are continuing working with solving those equations with variables. Today we're doing multiplication and division. Very, very similar to the addition and subtraction objective we just did, but this time we're doing the operations of multiplication and division. So we have our same three methods that we can use to solve it. The first one is the logic. 6 times what number equals 30. So you ask the question, you can do a mental math to figure out the answer. The second one is that opposite operations. The opposite of multiplying 6 is dividing by 6. So addition and subtraction went hand in hand, multiplication and division went hand in hand. So when we do the opposite operation, we're going to be dividing both sides of that equal sign to keep it balanced. And that's going to get us our variable by itself. So what that looks like is we have 6n equals 30. We need to divide by 6 and divide by 6. What is 6 divided by 6? Sarah? Say it louder. 1. So it would be 1n equals 30 divided by 6, Aiden. 5. Now here's the thing with 1n. When there's that number right next to the variable, we know it means to multiply. What does it mean when we multiply by 1? Aiden? The number stays the same, right? 5 times 1 is 1. 10 times 1 is 1. So we don't need to keep that 1 in front of it. We would just call it n equals 5. We don't have to say 1 times n because we know it's just going to be n. So we would just put n equals 5 when we work it out that way. Our last way of solving these equations is doing the fact families. So our fact families for 6 times a number equals 30 would be 6 times n equals 30, n times 6 equals 30, 30 divided by n equals 6, and 30 divided by 6 equals n. Which one of those fact families is the one that we want to use to solve this equation, Sarah? Yeah, 30 divided by 6 equals n. So when we figure that out, we know what n is. So just like with the addition and subtraction, we're going to work through all three ways, and you're going to decide which ways work for you. So let's look at this bottom part together. No matter which method you use, we can still check our answer like we did with our addition and subtraction. You take your variable answer and you put it in for the variable. Does each side of the equal sign equal the same thing? Does it balance out? So we are going to be correcting or checking to see if we got the correct answer. So like we did with the addition and subtraction, we're going to use all three methods, solving for the variable, and then we're going to check it. So what question would I ask for 8n equals 56? Adeline. So what number times, we're going to do it at the bottom here. So what number times 8 equals 56? And if we know our multiplication tables, what number times 8 equals 56, Emma? 7. If I do opposite operations and I have 8n equals 56, what do I have to do to solve that? 8. I'm going to divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is that 1, so I can just put n. What's 56 divided by 8? 7. And which fact family am I going to use to figure out the answer? Sarah? 56 divided by 8 equals n, which we know 56 divided by 8 is 7. Now we need to check our answer. So we're going to put that 7 that we got for each one of these. We got the same answer. We're going to put it in to see if it works. So 8 times 7 equals 56. 8 times 7 is 56. 56 really does equal 56. So I know I got the right answer. Let's look at our next one. N over 8 equals 4. What question would I ask? What do you think I would ask to find that answer? I only have a couple people who know the question. How should I ask that? What do you think, Emerald? Good. Oh, goodness. All right. Can't use the blue. I use the green. There we go. What number divided by 8 equals 4? So what number, if I divide it by 8, is it going to equal 4? Kylie? So if I put 2 up here, do I say 2 divided by 8 equals 4? 2 divided by 8 is not 4. That would have been 8 divided by 4. Well, we have to really pay attention to our question. What number divided by 8? So what number would I divide by 8 to equal 4? What do you think, Lexi? 32. So 32 divided by 8 would equal 4. You see the difference there, Kylie? We have to be really careful that we're really thinking through what number goes on the top. What's our first number that we're going to divide up? If I'm going to do my opposite operations, I have n over 8 equals 4. What operation is happening right there? What does that fraction bar mean? Emma? Division. So what's the opposite of dividing? Multiplying. So I want to multiply by 8. So it turns into 8 to n over 8. And then if I simplify it and divide the 8 out of both, when I simplify it, I get just my n. So I multiply both sides by 8. 4 times 8 gives me that 32. And then I need to do my fact family. What fact family would give me this answer? Liam? Yep, you are right. 4 times 8 equals what number? 4 times 8 we know equals that 32. So we got the 32 for all 3 of our answers. Now we're going to put it into our original equation and say 32 divided by 8 equals 4. Let's see if that's true. 32 divided by 8 is 4. 4 really does equal 4. So my variable does work. Look at our last one. 7n equals 63. What question would I ask for this? What is my logical question? What do you think, Lexi? What number times 7 equals 63? And who knows their multiplication tables? What number times 7 would equal 63? Bridget? It is not 6. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times what number? What number times 7? No, Lindy? 9. So we have to be careful of that. Sometimes we're really confident in our multiplication facts and we make easy mistakes. So that's why we always check our work and really think it through. Does 7 times 6 really equal 63? When we looked at it and checked it, we would have discovered that that was the wrong fact. So it is 7 times 9. If we are going to do our opposite operation, 7n equals 63, what operation are we doing in the original problem? Natalie? We're doing multiplication right here, so you're right, we have to do division. Because that 7n means we're multiplying, the opposite is dividing, and we must divide by both sides, on both sides of that equal sign. 7 divided by 7 gets me that 1, so I'm going to leave it at n. 63 divided by 7 gets me that 9. And what is the fact family that we would use if we did fact families? Liam? We don't know the 9 yet. Good. 63 divided by 7 equals n. And we know 63 divided by 7 is that 9. So now we have to go back and we have to check, is that 9 the correct answer? So I put 9 in for n. 7 times 9 is 63. 63 really does equal 63. Any questions on doing solving with multiplication or division? All right, let's look at our work page on the next page. We need to show our work. Are you using the question? Are you doing opposite operations? Are you doing fact family? You must write out how you're finding your answer. You're not just writing an answer. So if you do the mental math with it, you ask yourself that logic question. Write out the logic question and then put the answer. So if it's one that you can do that mental math on right away, that mental math is the logic question. So write out the question, but you have to show which way you're using to solve it. And then you're going to check your answer. Did you do it correctly? Remember our rules when we're working with negative numbers. If you are multiplying or dividing by a negative and a positive, your answer is going to be negative. If you're multiplying or dividing by same symbols, negative divided by a negative, positive divided by a positive, your answer will be positive. But we're using negative numbers, so make sure you remember those rules. Because if your answer is supposed to be negative and you leave it positive, it will be wrong. As a negative 9 is very different than a positive 9. So make sure you're paying attention to those negative numbers and the rules that we have for multiplying and dividing by negatives. At the bottom, it's just like what we did with the adding or subtracting. This time, we need a variable value of 8. Who can give me an equation using the value of 8? What would be an equation? Adding or subtracting using an 8. Who can think of an example of adding or subtracting? Adeline. Not plus. Adding or subtracting. All right, so Adeline says 8 times 2 is 16. So I'm going to take that 8 out and put my n in for it. N times 2 equals 16. doing it the mathy way, I would do 2n equals 16. They're both multiplying. And then I'm going to do the opposite with the division. So n times 2 is 16. I know 16 divided by n is going to equal that 2. So remember, when we're going to work with those variable values, you figure it out straight up right away. 8 times what equals what? Then we take the 8 out and we put in our n, and then we can do it with multiplying and dividing. So you need to do another one, another set with multiplying and dividing. Come up with your own equation. We don't want it to equal 8 at the end. We want that 8, that n, to be as part of that equation. Any questions on that? If you are one of my many friends who did not complete the last assignment, who got marked as missing, remember, you need to go back and finish it. We are testing on this next week. So we want to make sure that we are staying on top of our work and know what we're doing, because that test is coming up next week. If you have that all done, work on your Khan Academy, work on your packet number 6. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well. Have a wonderful day.